Hey there, lovely folks of YouTube, Ren here. Yes, I have new glasses. Exciting, isn't it? I got bifocals finally. Getting older, what can I say? So it's November. I haven't really been out in my garden because I've been in Arizona, which you would have known if you'd seen my last video. But we're going to look and see what things are going on out here. But I'm sure it's a hot mess. But I mean, you know, honestly, when isn't my garden a hot mess lately? This is, yeah. But anyway, this is an interesting time though, because of course everything's kind of going to sleep. Everything is kind of changing colors. We're going to see what we can find. So let's get started here. All right. So obviously I have the hazel here. Hasn't really changed color yet. These leaves will turn yellow. You can see there's a couple in there that are starting to turn, but this one hasn't really changed yet. The color changing has been really late this year, later than I'm used to seeing it. Usually we kind of hit our peak right around the end of October, and we're here in like mid-November almost still here. But we have some cool stuff. So this grass right here is usually pretty unobtrusive, but really comes out in the fall. This is the Panicum virgatum, which is the Virginia switchgrass. Shenandoah specifically is this cultivar, so it has a nice little color here. And here's a nice little surprise here. Look, that's a rutabaga that obviously grew up in the compost that I had planted there. So there's a little bit of a root starting to form on that. So I'll have some rutabaga in a little while. You can see I desperately need to clean out my cold frame because I'm going to need it soon. So let's just move along here. We can see got some little opportunistic something. Maybe that's, I think that's birds from the bird seed actually. Some kind of sorghum that's grown up in my raspberries. Raspberries are still kind of chugging along there. Not doing too bad. That's a catnip plant down in the raspberries. I'm gonna have to move that. So you can see this is done. I did get a few more little seed heads off of this. Little bitty ones, so I need to harvest those, but this broomcorn is done. You can see I put one of my Halloween jack-o'-lanterns out there, so maybe next year I'll get some pumpkins there. This is one of the trees that's changing color. My Cheonanthus tree has a nice sort of yellowy color to it. It is starting to lose some of its leaves, of course. Lots of weeds out here. My scallions are doing great though in this cold weather. You can see them growing up amidst the weeds. There is some parsley in there, but I've been mostly harvesting it. This is a cool thing too. Asparagus, the little fronds will change color. They get that nice little orangey rust color to them. So they're starting to change there, which is cool. Here's how I know we're at peak. I don't know if you can, yeah. So that's my neighbor's maple tree. Glorious. I can't really be mad about the fact that it's shading part of my yard at this time of year. So I got that, and then of course off in the distance you can kind of see some of the other neighborhood trees here. The oaks and everything else is changing color. That's really the key, is that we kind of hit, there's two different phases of color here in Virginia. So the maples always change first, maples and gums and dogwoods and things like that, and then the oaks are like the last to change colors. So there's a very brief period of time, maybe only a week or two, where all of those trees are colored up and the ones that colored up first still have their leaves. So we are in that peak right now, which is nice. Here's another one that's changing color on me. This is my viburnum. Turns a nice sort of purpley, eventually shading to this like stoplight red color. So that's a really cool one to see in the fall. That's always fun. So other things that we have, little bits of weeds and stuff. You can see my asters are done. Still have some roses. This was the rose that just keeps on keeping on. You can see roses in there. There's some buds, some new buds, along with the hips that are back here. So it's always kind of neat to see the roses and the hips together. So back here, of course, it's well shaded. Over the fence there, you can see there's one of my dogwoods. That's actually the Asian dogwood. Which one is it? Kusa dogwood. So another one that's really cool that changes color. If you get a little bit closer, you can see it better. And that is this one right here. That is my Solomon seal, the variegated Solomon seal specifically. So that one's a neat one that changes. You can see I have a lot more flowers on my camellia right now. And still some buds too. So, and other things back here. I have turned the pump off on the pond because we did have some time where it was freezing. So I wanted to make sure we get that. So I don't think this fish actually survived me going away for the winter. When I came home, I found a couple of my little friends floating at the top, which I was super sad about, but Froggy Friend has also either moved on or is hiding down at the bottom in its hibernation, one or the other. So you can see Pond is looking very sad right now. And I'm also very sad about it, but there's always next year. Lots of things that have lost their leaves, of course. This stuff right here blooms in October, but that one's done. Lots of stuff that just needs to be pruned back. These gardenias, I need to cover them up real soon. We've had a couple of frosts, but haven't really had a hard freeze yet. So I definitely need to do it before we have a hard freeze because that will make them lose a lot of their leaves. And they don't like that. So otherwise, I don't know. It's just a whole lot of leafy mess mostly. I lost all my apples. I kind of missed the window on harvesting them because I was out of town, and now that's all that's left. Blah. Oh well, next year, right? There's always next year. So that's kind of my motto every year. There's always next year. But this little guy's just about done and ready. You can see, look at that. Little Datura open up. I've already harvested a bunch of it. This is the one that still was hanging on in the end. Oh, and this is all the other thing that's funny. You see, look at this naked mess here. That was my rue plant. Oh my god, the butterflies, the black swallowtail caterpillars just absolutely decimated it. So this little stuff in here that was mostly like covered up by other plants is still there, but this one is just like, it'll pop back next year. I'm gonna prune it back and then it should pop back up pretty fine, but yeah. Nature just gave it a little pruning. I'm sure if I look really closely, you can see my Bootlasia still has some flowers on it. I'm sure if I look closely, I will find a bunch of the little chrysalis from those butterflies in that plant, because I usually do every year. Anyway, yep, that's it. That's November. Look at the colors though. Isn't that pretty? It's so pretty. Anyway, that's all I have for you right now. I don't know if I'm going to do one of these in December. Not November. In December. Because honestly, I don't feel like there's going to be a whole lot difference in what you're going to see out here. But we'll see. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Depends on how I feel. Depends on if there's something interesting going on. In any case, I hope this video finds you well. And I will see you again soon.